Welcome, everyone, to another enlightening Ascension Wisdom Conversations. It is brought to you by Galactic Ascension Academy at SheilaTillich.com. Yes, this is the time to awaken and live your soul's mastery. I am a Galactic grandmother, Sheila Tillich, and I invite you to relax and enjoy this time together as we discover our Ascension Wisdom Mastery. As souls, we have entered a higher dimensional reality as humans on planet Earth. This is the new energy consciousness. It has awakened our multidimensional spiritual DNA abilities, which are given to us by our galactic ancestors. Join me, dear ones, as we live at our soul's full potential, live in our wisdom mastery in this Ascension time. Hello, everybody. Sheila Tillich here for Ascension Wisdom, and I am so grateful to have you all come and share this beautiful time with me and my special guest. Her name is Soma, Arah, Pleiadian Channel. And Soma, welcome to Ascension Wisdom. All right.
Hello, Sheila. Thank you very much for having me. I'm so looking forward to connecting in with you today.
Yeah.
Often in these days, the only way I really get to connect with people is during interviews.
That's good, yeah, isn't it? But more is coming. We're going to be able to give our heart hugs together, individually, together, actually in physical form, which is really, really great. So, Soma and I, the actual coherence, the collective consciousness actually brought us together, which means this time of ascension, who we are as beings, and as we are able to share our wisdom with one another. And we are so connected in the galactic field. It is just beyond words. And now it is becoming so real that we are so connected in the galactic. So, Soma, would you share a little bit with my audience about who you are, just a little bit about how this all kind of started for you and what you're doing now as an ambassador for the Galactic Pleiadians?
Thank you, Sheila.
Welcome.
As you're speaking, I can really feel my aura tingling. Very strong, the energy here.
Mine too, that's why I'm going.
So, well, it all started for me as a child. I was born into a very dysfunctional family, a lot of poverty, abuse, trauma, addiction, bullied at school. I had it coming from every angle. And it was really, I'm so grateful now looking back, because I'm really starting to understand on a very deep level how all of that stuff was such a great training ground for me. It was devastating at the time. That's not debatable. It was horrendous. But now looking back, being 51, looking back to those early childhood years, it was great experiences. Traumatic, but on one hand, and yet on the other hand, I had so many spiritual experiences consciously that I remember from the age of 8, where due to trauma, I left my body and connected to the Pleiadians, and I didn't know who they were. I didn't even give them a title. I just knew their energy. And so they've consciously been with me since then, and even before that, So I went on to do a lot of training in my 20s, 30s, and 40s through different religions, such as Buddhism, spiritualism, and then into shamanism, which I would say I'm still a part of, although I'm not really part of any shamanic training these days, or I'm not a student of any particular teacher. But I have, so I've also gone on to channel the Pleiadians in a more conscious way.
Mm-hmm.
So I've several kind of beginnings or stages of connecting in with them. And I'd forgotten all of the childhood memories and experiences and the Pleiadian downloads and transmissions. I'd forgotten so much of it until I did my own shamanic training back in 2009, I think it was, with Paul O'Halloran in Ireland, in Galway, where during these trainings that lasted, I think, 2 or 3 years, in one of the sessions we did shamanic journeys, and I was taken up and out of my body again, and I was with one of my guides called Many Moons, and he took me up, and Pleiadian beings were there, and they showed me my mission and a lot of the childhood memories. And previous, because I'd already started to channel the Pleiadians at that point, but I'd forgotten all the childhood stuff. So one of the kind of important experiences I had back in, again, I think that was around 2009. I was sent an email by this guy who I thought was just crazy, and it turns out he was. It turns out he wasn't at all. There's a word we use for that in Ireland. It's called cracked. But he wasn't. He was very awake and aware, and I hadn't heard. He's very well known, but he sent me an email out of the blue. So there I was thinking, oh, this guy is a bit crazy. And he sent me an email out of the blue saying, hi, something along the lines of, I think we should work together. And I was given your name by the Pleiadians. And at first I thought, oh, okay. So anyway, lo and behold, a few days later, I consciously started to channel the Pleiadians. And it was very much like taking dictation. Actually, it's exactly what it was. And because of all the childhood experiences and being able to connect with spirit, there wasn't any difference really in connecting to the Pleiadians. And Ashtar was the main guy that turned up behind me and slightly to my left. And then behind him, there was hundreds of other Pleiadian beings. And he said his name was, his exact words were, hello, I'm Ashtar, Pleiadian commander. And I always have this very strong sense that the Pleiadians with him and behind him are speaking through him. So he would be a spokesperson, a main spokesperson for the Pleiadian collective. And anyway, this man that sent me the email is called, and he's such a big place in my heart because he's such a intricate part of my channeling the Pleiadians. He's called Joshua Shapiro. I'm sure you've heard of him. Well, I know you have. The Crystal Skull Explorer, and he's such he's one of those souls that is so humble and doesn't realize his own importance. I can't find a better word. So that was how I began channeling, although I'd been doing it as a child. And so much information was given to me as a child with downloads and transmissions and images and experiences. And I've come to the understanding now that, as I'm 51, that Jesus is Pleiadian.
Yes.
And I've, they have said that, but also I did have an experience when I was 12 with Jesus that was very profound. Very, very profound. I had an awakening experience, let's call it that, where I left my body at the age of 12 because I was going to commit suicide. wanted out. I didn't want to be here, didn't want to know anything, didn't want to speak to anyone, didn't want to be around anyone. I just wanted to be left alone, to leave the planet. And I was in my room. I'm not sure if I've shared this with you before, Sheila, or not. I can't remember, maybe not. But I was deciding on taking tablets, and I was in a complete mess emotionally. I was snotty and sobbing, retching even. And I lay on my mattress on the floor. And the next thing I knew, I was up on the corner of the ceiling above the door. And because of this experience, I'll never forget the room and the layout and how it looked, because I was up there looking down and I could see all of the everything in the room, and I could see myself. I was looking at my own body. And then Jesus came to me and took me on a very long journey for about 3 or 4 hours, and showed me a lot of my own karma and experiences, and really got me to understand, and showed me and taught me a lot of understanding so that I could accept where I was as a child, the environment, the parents, the lack of food, the school system, the surroundings, to enable me. He wanted me to accept, understand, process, integrate who I was, where I was, why I was there, in order for me to continue in my body. And when he understood that I really got his teachings in that experience, in that day, then he moved on to humanity and the bigger picture. And then when I came back, I was gone about 3 or 4 hours, and when I came back, I was just totally blissful, just beyond being okay. And that lasted for about 3 or 4 weeks, and then it gradually ebbed away. But I always knew that that was a real experience, because of I went from being so devastated, and I was just a young little girl, skinny little thing. Nothing to me really, the wind could have knocked me over, and energetically. And then when I came back, I was blissful. I'd gone from one extreme to the other. And I never spoke about that experience for at least 20, no, maybe 15 years.
What year was that? What year was that? Out of curiosity.
I was 12 when I had that experience. So it would have been 1986.
80. All right. So that's right about the time of the Harmonic Convergence, 1987. And like 5 years before, many people were starting to awaken to get ready for the convergence in August of 87. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna let you continue. Sorry, but they just told me to ask the year because it's really important, don't you think, for other people to understand, what has been happening on planet Earth and why, and our purpose now. Our purpose now. And I actually have 20 years on you, so I'm going to be 71. So I kind of did the math real quick. I was born in the 50s, so you were born in the 70s, the same as my kids type thing, so which is cool. So I'm sorry for interrupting you. Would you like to continue? Because it's fascinating. It's fascinating.
It is. And one of the things I have to add, one of the things I've really struggled with is coming from a family like that and experiencing that, and having some kind of understanding that that is part of me. That is part of me. The dysfunction, the trauma, the negative energy, negative perspectives and viewpoints, that is very harsh energy. And understanding that that energy also contains the energy of believing that we are small, that we are insignificant, that we are powerless. It's a very low class family that I came from. So, given these experiences that I was having, which was the total opposite of connecting to Jesus and the Pleiadians and my guides, and having all my, I was one of those kids that remembered past life memories in a very physical way, where I was telling my mum what was around the corner in Dublin and the roads and everything on the first visit there when I was about 8. So I really struggled for many years between those two different energies within myself, because I didn't understand how someone like me, born into that family, could be having experiences with the likes of Jesus and the Pleiadians and Ashtar and my guide, one of my guides, many moons. So I've come to, and I think that is something that humanity as a collective really struggles with. It's a program that is run by some of the negative agendas, such as the Catholic Church, I believe, in order to put Jesus on a pedestal and make us believe that we are powerless, that we don't have the ability to connect with him. And we do. We really so do.
Yes.
And also that part of there's the aspect there of being multidimensional and being galactic and being cosmic and a starseed, which shows me that there are certain programs running, not just with myself, but with humanity as a whole, where we are taught, programmed, dumbed down to believe that we are far less than we are. And actually, the very opposite is true. And it's really about reclaiming our power and our sovereignty and our missions and our voices and stepping into a higher energy, because we are divine beings of God or source or consciousness or cosmic energy that are infinite and have divine, infinite, timeless connections with all of the light beings and energy, whether it's Pleiadians or Syrians or Lyrans or our spirit guides, lion energy, the past lives with being shaman, and the sacred people, whether it's Aborigines or Native Americans.
This is why Spirit brought us together, because we're talking the same language, and we're also bring to the center of our magnificence as divine beings. That's the whole point. We're here to live our lives and also to help others wake up to who we really are as galactic beings, as star seeds, as awakened rainbow children, but whatever you want to call yourself, that we are divine and we are magnificent. And that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. And I too came from basically the same type of childhood that you did too. And I am so grateful. I'm so grateful now for my past, because I use it in a way of connecting, heart linking or heart connecting with other people, that we are all the same. And those experiences are exactly how we connect our heart connection through the galactic, but through the actual collective, the collective in the world that we're living now with society. And you're absolutely right about, the dumbing down of all the religions and the world organizations and government and everything that has been hidden from us to keep us captive, to keep us as prisoners in the hate and dumb us down. And in reality, we are part of the galactic family of light, We are, we have so many helpers out there, you know, whether it's our spirit guides, which mine was white dove feather. All right. And that's why my first website, and when I did shaman work and when I came out as a healer, my website was White Dove Healing. For White Dove help me bring myself out, and to align with the energy that's here now. So I totally get it. And the connection with Jesus, it was my savior, who rescued me through my childhood, and my connection with Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene, you know. And even though I was brought up in the Catholic faith, you know, I was shamed, which I think I shared with your actual community, that I was shamed as a child because I could see the angels and I could see Jesus and Mary and everybody else, and I was told, no, you can't, you know, that's blasphemy. You can only have a guardian angel. So my whole life I knew that that where I came from. I knew where I came from, but I also knew that I had to grow as a human to experience this wisdom. All right. And when, you know, this show is called the Ascension Wisdom, but that's exactly who we are as divine beings. And now we live in an age, in a time where we can share all this. That's our connectiveness. And it's also how we make the connection with being with our souls in other lifetimes, being together, you know, which I absolutely love.
It
Go ahead.
surprises me that I wasn't aware of that about you, that you came from a similar childhood.
Alcoholic, abusive, very, you know, food wise, you know, there was 8 kids, you know, we're on welfare a lot, you know, my father's drinking, my mother's drinking, and the abuse that was so bad. Um, and then also, you know, the psychosocial behaviors that you learn. In other words, the programming and how you survived, you know. And you know, many of us our age, you know, the older generation, which we are really the older generation, because the young ones, all the, you know, the light workers and the star seeds that are coming alive now, they have different stories, but it is just as important to make the connection with the ones that are awakening. You know, I think that's why they had me say about the harmonic convergence, the time when you were born and when this all started happening, you know, the spiritual revolution or whatever. But I also was sharing with a friend today about, as history has changed, you know, I grew up in the 60s. I was born in the 50s, 54. And I remember Eisenhower, President Eisenhower. I remember Johnson. I remember Kennedy and when he was killed, and how much impact it was on me. And I also knew the truth of what actually was going on. How did I know that? In other words, that something wasn't right. And living through, you know, when Robert Kennedy Sr. was killed and Martin Luther, knowing that something was more being happening than we knew. And living for the last 40, 50 years and seeing the changes in humanity and the changes as us as a society. And it's important to have those memories and to be able to share the wisdom that what we knew was true, that we were divine and there was more to us. And this is the ascension time. This is the time for us to live in the multidimensional dimension of who we are and the helpers that are here that are in a higher dimension. And a lot of them that showed us the way was Jesus and Mary and all the beautiful angels and my angel Metatron, and Ashtar and all of them, you know, Saint Germain, oh my goodness. And the connection with Mount Shasta and all these energy portals that are around the earth that are alive now. And they're in alignment with the consciousness grid. And why it matters the last 5 or 6 years, especially since those portals are completely open. And what does it mean? What does it mean when we make those connections? And why is it now the time for us to join together for the disclosure as far as who we are, where we're going. And it's amazing where we're going. And the
Yeah.
hope, putting the hope out there, right? It's not about gloom and doom. It's not about the fear and the anger. It's about the glorious future that is here for humanity. And many don't talk about that. All they talk about is the dark and the fighting and this and that. It's like, no, there is so much. And we use those experiences to connect with the heart, the
Yes.
light source, the light being, the light, the crystalline heart connection of who we really are. So I love it. So you have a cosmic starseed academy. And what really connected us is that our own communities sound a lot alike. Mine's the Galactic Ascension Academy, and yours the Cosmic Starseed Academy. It's basically the same thing. It's just resonates with certain people with different words. But Starseed, I don't know whether I shared, I probably didn't, but my granddaughter, who's 24, she'll be 25, and about 3 years ago, she says, Grandma, I need to talk to you. And she says, I hear everything about the star seed and everything. Why is there so many different things about star seed? And then I just explained to her that it's all of our divine connection with our DNA and how it manifests. And different people call themselves rainbow children, they Syrian blues, the blue rays, the diamond light body, it's all the same. It's just a way of identifying yourself, and that it's all connection to the God source, who we are, and our connection as souls, and who we are as divine beings, why we're here. And she goes, Grandma, I knew you had the right answer. That's why I wanted to connect with you. It's so funny. But they definitely are star seeds. My grandchildren, all of them are. And we've talked about it all the time. We laugh about it. So, but it is what it
That
is.
is so amazing and so beautiful. And it seems to me with that we are and the likes of you that we are that like there's a very grandmotherly feeling with you of where you have this energy of being a teacher, a wisdom keeper, and you're not just doing it on a higher dimension.
Mhm.
But you've anchored that energy into the earth. So and we were saying earlier that we come back to who we know, what we know, but we also come back um to people that we've been with before in a past lives to anchor in some of the higher, thank you, to anchor in some of the higher cosmic energies into the Mother Earth. And our families who we're born into, and who the families that come after us, so our children and our children's children, are here to continue the progressive ascension process and the expansion of consciousness, which is leading into the crystalline human being. It is such an amazing time to be here on earth.
It
I
is.
can never find the words that are strong enough or articulate enough the full impact of the expansion of consciousness that we're in now, and how it affects the whole universe. It's not limited to Earth. It's such a galactic mission and journey that we're on, where we will end up actually choosing to ascend this time because we didn't in Atlantis. And also our DNA, our bodies, our skin, our hair, our teeth, our blood, our cells, we are changing as a human species into a crystalline human being. And this is a process and will take some time. And we are moving forward into that slowly. But that is also one of the reasons, I believe, very much why we've been so heavily targeted, such as the toxins and poisons, in order to stop that process, which they can't do, but they can hinder it. So they have slowed down the process.
Keep going through the process. Go ahead.
So they can't, the negative agendas cannot stop the expansion of consciousness, because that really is what it comes down to. They can't stop the expansion of consciousness, but they can hinder it, which is what they've done through nefarious actions and putting different poisons, chemtrails, toxins
Yes.
into our air, food, water, into our bodies through toothpaste. But the consciousness expansion is galactic, it is cosmic, it is the universe expanding, God's source itself expanding and creating a better world, better planets, better human beings. And we are on a trajectory of such great achievement and abundance. And we have so much assistance, not just from the Pleiadians, but also others like Sirian and Lyran. And, you know, we're not alone. We've never been alone. We are so much more than so much more. And we're learning as starseeds to integrate that energetically on a daily basis. That is how I am. That is what I'm doing these days. I'm pulling in that energy more and more and more, and I've become so much more empathic and sensitive to other people around me in my environment, because I am in shared house, which is just amazing. And the people here are so awake. It's lovely. And I've created this. I've created all of it. You know, my childhood, my lack of secondary school, lack of education. And it's such a galactic cosmic journey that we're on, that the energy sometimes is off the scale, and I have to go outside and ground, and I can hear my voice changing. I have to go outside and ground and, you know, connect in with the earth, because I was, for so long, I was very connected to higher dimensions and the Pleiadians, but with no anchor, no roots, no stability, no foundation. So it was very, you know, often the reaction I would get is, oh my God, what is she talking about? Because there was not that energy of foundation, and which I have now, and stability. I can never find the word, Sheila, to describe how magnificent it is to be here in this lifetime now. It's extraordinary. It really is extraordinary. We've never had a time on earth like this, not in the way that we're experiencing it now, with the technology and the communication that we have. And we've been, since 2019, we've really been reaching out to each other and connecting and finding each other. And we know, we feel that strong connection, that strong bond, that strong galactic energy, that is a very powerful energy, that is hard to describe because it is unseen. It's always hard to describe anything that's unseen, because it's not, you can't see it with the physical eye, you know.
But it's also the trust and the knowing, and it's basically our abilities as divine beings is coming out, is that we know. And 2019 also was the year for me. It was very life-changing for me from the beginning all the way to the very end. And many things happened, but in June of 2019, I was actually in Mount Shasta for 14 days with the Cryon team, because I'm part of that. And the Star Mothers And my own identity in Lemuria came out. I already knew, but it really solidified who I really was as a divine princess, Princess Sophia from Lemuria, first generation, firstborn, and it was the fast moving forward with that energy, and then at the end in December of 2019, when the actual portals, the consciousness portals were completely opened, the last of the 12 sets of the nodes and the nulls. And that's part of the teaching with the Lemurian sisterhood and the teaching wheel of Lemuria, and how the Pleiadians actually instilled these energy portals into Mother Earth. And if the time was right, they would be activated. And from 2012 to 19, how they started opening up and changing. And when I teach more about the DNA and who we are as divine beings and the multidimensional part about that. It kind of shows, I always talk to my students is, where were you in 2012? Where were you in 2019? What happened in between those years that really shaped who you are now? And it's like, it's helped people to awaken and realize that they've always been divine and they've always had the ability to connect with it, but not really seeing it in a way that is so human or linear thinking. People have got to put numbers and stuff like that. We know the connection, the actual knowing connection that we're connected. And then our own lives, things changing in our own lives, and how it's coming out for others to connect with the contracts, if you want to call them contracts, but our connections with the galactic and our soul's connection in many layers. And also to kind of help people understand, what does the crystalline light mean? What are we? Why are we recalibrating? How are we recalibrating with this higher light frequency? And also help them understand, the Ascension symptoms that we're having, the memories that we are having, the connection to our own abilities, and how we're all connected. It's wonderful, this energy. And I go right back to the diamond light connection, the heart connection, the many facets of the diamond, and who we are in many lifetimes that we've had. And it is fascinating, isn't it? When you look back at time and we see our own growth and then we see the other people's growth, it's like, yes, right on time, divine time, right time, which is really cool. And now, with Earth changing, the whole energy is changing, and things that was hidden from us is coming to the light. And it's very hard for many to know and see things happening and then realizing and the distrust in what they always knew. And now it's like, well, that's not really what's happening here. But it's also a way of them connecting with their divineness, connecting that it's right. Just like when you talked about the Catholic Church, right? And what is coming out, which has been coming out for quite a while now, but also the galactic energy, and how our energy on planet Earth affects the whole cosmos. And looking back in World War II, when we put those atomic bombs out, and how it affected the whole field of the Earth, and the helpers that we do have here, and then the ones that weren't so good helpers, more of the control, manipulation, the hidden agenda stuff. And now the disclosure of what's coming out, which is the great time to be human. Great time. What I always share is that I want to stick around for a while. They always told me it was going to be 120 years I was going to live. I don't know about that. Maybe 100, but yeah, okay, I get it. But the thing is, I want to be around because I want to see what's going to happen, because I know those med beds are here. I know where we can grow new parts. I know about all this stuff. I know about the contamination in everything to keep us dumbed down, you know. And now many of us are coming forward with this information, and we're all connecting with a crystalline heart, the connection, and our bodies are changing into crystalline forms. And this is the DNA awakening up. This is us knowing beyond a shadow. We can't live in denial anymore. We can't live thinking that and COVID, the whole situation didn't matter, because it did. It was awakening and showing, things of the control, of the control. So I'm very happy. I know I'm in the US and you're in Ireland. And I shared before that my great grandmother came from Ireland, and I am her incarnate, Bridget Doyle. All right, I am her, and our connection there is so strong, is so strong. We are all connected, as starseeds, as divine beings. Go ahead. Were you going to say something?
I'm getting a clearer picture of perhaps our connection to, let me take out the words perhaps, but our connection goes back to Ireland in previous lifetimes, and also to Atlantis and Lemuria. And I was going to ask you, what area of Cork, oh, sorry, what area of Ireland?
Conky? The Conky? Is it Conky or Cork? Conky or Cork?
Cork.
Cork. Um, my brother, who passed in 2019, he was actually a historian, archivist, all right, and he actually traced our family roots all the way back there, so I already knew it. But I also knew about my great grandmother, and who she was, and through my own life experiences, she showed herself through me, and I was able to show her to other people, which is good. And that's a whole nother conversation that we can have, how that actually came out, where my brother and a couple of my siblings, we actually went to the town that she migrated to when she first came to America in the 1800s. And we were actually in seeing the house where she birthed her children, the actual church that she got married in, and both of her husbands and all their children, and my great grandmother. And so I actually seen myself, and my sister seen me up on the altar getting married. And it's like I shared what was going on. She goes, I seen that. How did that happen? Well, it's also part of my awakening. It was part of my awakening of knowing who was I, a galactic grandmother, and the wisdom I got from my Irish grandmother, and the connection there, and yeah, so there's a lot of connection. There's a lot of connection. A lot
It's
of
just,
connection.
I, you'll have to excuse me, and your audience as well. I'm just such in a blissful state today, realizing, especially with what you're saying, Sheila, and connecting in with you today, of how just so beautiful it is that and people listening who are empathic will understand that sometimes energies can be overwhelming, both in a positive way, but and also a negative way. But in a positive way, I get a bit overwhelmed sometimes where the energies, I just get so blissful. Like,
I know. I know. It's great. Well, listen, can you share a little bit about your academy? Share a little bit more about that so my community can know about it too.
thank you, Sheila. And yeah, you're absolutely right. I've been feeling the similarities, not just in the name, but the energy of the two academies that we've set up. Um, and I would like to add that you are older and wiser than me. You've got the 20 years ahead.
Yes, I do. It could be my daughter. And I have a son that's almost 50. He will be in July. Absolutely. Yes.
Um, yeah, so my um I just wanted to acknowledge and recognize that the academies are very similar, although they will attract different people because we do have slightly different energies. And so mine is called Cosmic Starseed Academy, or Cosmic Starseeds Academy, and
Mhm.
it is in the very early stages, so it is progressive. I'm not sure where it's going to be, but I would like to incorporate at some stage a more solid foundation and stability with it. So it's in the early phases stage, but it's predominantly to help starseeds in their growth and expansion, in discovering who they are and where they're from and why they're here. And so I would like to do courses and workshops, which I do anyway, and mostly have for a long time. Um, so within that umbrella of the Cosmic Starseed Academy, I have a Saturday group, a Sunday group, and also a monthly group. And I do readings as well and sessions with people. But the Saturday group is where I channel the Pleiadians once a week. And it's restarting tomorrow because I was on a break for 2 weeks. And that's free to join. If you can leave a donation, please do. But I'd rather you be there than you know not. So if you can't leave a donation, that's fine. Please do still come and join. And then the Sunday group is slightly different, where it's more, I'm still learning to find the words to describe it, but it is a different energy and it's more focused in and honed in on specific subjects. So it's more like they've actually called it the Pleiadian Sunday School, which is very fun.
I
Um,
like that.
I do, I like that as well, because I actually, my mum was Catholic and I actually used to love the Sunday school. Um, and I would actually be very my voice was well heard in those Sunday schools.
I get you. I hear you.
And it was the one of the very few places I was able to express what I was seeing as a child. So I took full advantage of it, and I wasn't there long. So anyway, the Sunday groups that I do, very different energy to Saturday. Um, it's more, there's a more, I I can't use those words, I'm sorry, but it's just a very different energy. So, and then I have a monthly group, which is only for people that have subscribed to my Substack, because I wanted to bring something extra to the table for those people, because I'm so grateful, that people have joined on the Substack subscriptions. So that monthly group is, there is a healing included, and there is a Q&A channeled by the Pleiadians for people that have put in questions for the Pleiadians. So, and I also have a very special conference coming up in Florida, which I'm so delighted. So delighted. I'm one of the speakers there, one of the many important speakers in Florida, in St. Pete's, I think it's St. Pete's Beach, the 15th to the 18th of July 2025, and it's organized by Brian Seng, fulldisclosurenow.org. And if you're listening and would like to come along, I do have a discount. He's very kindly given me a discount code, which I'm able to give out to people. So if you'd like to, join my Substack, or email me about the code. My Substack is Soma Arah. My email is The Pleiadian Child, which is the same name as my first book. And yeah, come and connect.
Yeah. I'm hoping to come. I'm trying to work things out that I can be there with you to
That
give
would
you
be
my time
amazing,
talk. Yeah,
Sheila.
and also to meet
Yeah,
Brian, stuff like that. So
yeah.
I leave it up.
That
I
would
leave it
be
up.
amazing. Yeah,
Wouldn't that be amazing? That would be
yeah.
amazing. It's good, wonderful.
There's a handful of people that I would love to meet, and you're one of them.
Thank you. Thank you. So might happen. Might happen. All right. Well, is there anything else that you would like to share with my audience, my community, or anybody that listens to this video?
Love yourselves more than you did yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow, and keep stepping into that. You are such divine beings. Let go of all the pain, trauma, past hurts, whether they be from this lifetime, from your childhood, or previous lifetimes, even if you don't know where it comes from. Let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go. We love you. You are galactic beings. You are us. You are us in the future. We love you very much. And we revel in the energy of your progression, each and every one of you. And we feel your pain, each and every one of you. We understand, we know, we feel, we get how traumatic it's been for some of you more than others. And we are applauding you. We are clapping, we are sending you love and light, not just to Sheila and Soma, but also Crystal and many others of you that are all intertwined, thank you, and interconnected, such as Sheila and Soma and Dennis and Crystal and groups of people, circles within circles. And we will close there and say, we love you more than you know. And love wins.
Thank you, Arah. Thank you so much. Thank you for being with us today. And everybody, I will see you next time. And have a blessed day. Bye-bye. Welcome, everyone, to another enlightening Ascension Wisdom Conversations. It is brought to you by Galactic Ascension Academy at SheilaTillich.com. Yes, this is the time to awaken and live your soul's mastery. I am a Galactic Grandmother, Sheila Tillich, and I invite you to relax and enjoy this time together as we discover our Ascension Wisdom Mastery. As souls, we have entered a higher dimensional reality as humans on planet Earth. This is the new energy consciousness. It has awakened our multidimensional spiritual DNA abilities, which are given to us by our